Alright, I made in a previous video I had shown my homemade slapper bars, my anti-wrap-up bars, and as you can see, it's just a 3/8 inch piece of flat steel by 3 inches wide. Okay, as you can see, there's nothing to it. It's just a piece of flat bar, piece of flat stock that I went to the local metal place and got. It's not actually not local, it's like 50 miles from here, but anyway, and that's just a chunk of wood, and it's held on there with these two 9/16 bolts. I just drill the hole and I screw them right into the wood. Okay, so that's what that looks like. They screw in right there. Okay, the rule is, since it's a truck, if I want to go haul gravel or something, you know, put 1,000 pounds or something in the back, the rule is take this out. Well, I forgot. And so the other day I go up to the gravel place and I'm like, yeah, I need a load of road base. How much you think it weighs? And the chick's like, well, it's going to be like 2,400 pounds. And I'm like, oh, that's too much. And I said, well, how about 1.5 inch rock without the dust? Just 1.5 inch rock. How much is a yard gonna weigh? And she says, oh, like 2,000, maybe 1,900. Well, at the time I hadn't put these little fender cutouts in, and I only have 4 inches of clearance until that tire hits the bed, right? So I said, all right, give me that. And I have the dude load it, and I have him put about half in, and it looked good. Then I had him dump the rest of it in. So I took off with my 2,000 pounds, and I forgot to take the block out. Okay, so I got 2,000 pounds of weight in the back. That block is in there, and the leaf spring is completely flat. Like that 2,000 pounds, it flattened the leaf spring out, and my tire is like 1 inch from the bed right there. And of course the traffic was heavy, so when I pulled out on the highway, I stomped on it a little, and what I did is I bent both these bars. So when I get home, instead of this bar being, it used to touch right here. So I get home, and now there's like, it's like this far down. It's like 3 inches, both of them. I bent the hell out of them because I forgot to take that damn piece of wood out. That's the rule, is if, you know, these work fine, but if I gotta haul something, I gotta remember to remove that. Well, I forgot, I bent everything. So, my solution for this, I haven't tried it yet. Well, I haven't actually driven it. I did one side. So I decided what has to happen is I have to take this piece of 1/4 inch scrap I have. It's 1/4 inch wide by, or it's 1/4 inch thick by 3 inches wide. And the idea is put it right here, tack it up there, and then take it off and weld it all together. Okay, now there's going to be a gap here and water's going to get in there, so to fix that, also to close that opening up, I'm going to weld some of this 1 inch by 1/8 strap on there all the way around, so it'll be sealed up, right? And then the next issue I have is on these freaking trucks, every one of the 3 I've owned, this bottom thick leaf spring right here, in about every like 1,000 miles, it sticks all the way out to like here. It just twists, and I gotta get a hammer and I gotta bang it back over. And when you keep doing that and doing that and doing that, you know, the shackles, you gotta tighten them because it makes the shackles get loose. And it's just a problem with these trucks. See, they have these captured. These never move, but this one here, this thick one, it's like a helper spring, and they leave it, they don't tie it to the rest because it makes the suspension too stiff. So the result is this will walk. And if you take this top plate off and figure, oh yeah, I'll just tighten the hell out of that center post, you're gonna break it off. You can't tighten it enough to keep this thing from walking out. And as you can see right here, it's walked out. Okay, so the solution for that is once I take all this off and modify it and reinforce it, like I said, we're gonna put a plate here. We're gonna put a plate here, and it's gonna have, let me see if I can do all this. It's the plate there, it's gonna have that, and then along the side to close that hole up is gonna be this. That's gonna be welded on there, right? And then to stop that bottom leaf from walking out, it's a problem I've been dealing with for years. I'm gonna put one of these on each side to keep that leaf captured in there, right? That's the plan. Okay, well now I'm just gonna show you what the plan looks like. Let me get the hell out of here. Oh my God. I'm too fat for this, man. And it's like 90 degrees out here. Anyway, jeez. Just so nobody thinks I'm just talking, I'm going to show you the finished product. I mean, this literally took me like 15 hours. I'm not built for this anymore. All right. Here's the finished product. All that I was just telling you about, here it is, and it's done. There is the thing I'm telling you, it keeps this bottom leaf spring. Now these bottom leaf springs are mushroomed out on the ends. They're wider for some reason. This one helper spring on the bottom, on each end, it's wider than everything. So I had to grind it to match, to make it flat with these. And when you grind this leaf spring, only do it a little at a time and let it cool off. You don't want to put a bunch of heat to it. But the idea is to get the width of this bottom helper spring the same width as all of these. In other words, you need to grind it down until it's 3 inches wide. And then these plates here keep it captured so that it stays centered. This here, as you can see, this is the reinforced one. Here's the 1/8 inch plate to cap it off so no water can get inside. It's all sealed up. On the bottom, here is that piece of quarter I was talking about. Jeez, this is hard to do. Here's that piece of quarter. Great, now my hand's shaking. That's the piece of quarter I put on the bottom to reinforce this, hoping so it won't bend again, hoping it doesn't bend again. Here is the cap. It's all closed in so no water can get trapped inside here. And that's the finished deal. Okay, there it is. This time I gave it a little more. I actually gave it about a 1/2 inch gap there. That's what it all looks like. Yep, bunch of homemade hillbilly crap right there. I don't care. It's better than paying $500 or $600 for a set of these that don't even fit right. I didn't see one set I liked. Not for the price. Okay, anyway. So to keep this video from going much longer, I hate long videos. What this is, if you're wondering, is this whole assembly weighs about 22 pounds. It is about, I think, 28 inches long. It's long. It's really heavy. And when you're going over potholes and stuff like that, and this thing's flapping around, I couldn't have that. I figured what's going to happen is if I hit a hard enough bump, it might just eventually bend from flapping like that. I was worried it was going to bend this arm. So what I did was I took some all thread. While I had it all apart, I welded a couple of nuts on here, one on each side. I weld them. I only use 70-18 rods. Don't be using anything like 60-11s or 60-13s or 70-14s. Use 70-18s if you're doing any kind of structural. Stick weld it with 70-18s. Don't be using that MIG welder stuff from Home Depot. That random wire you buy on the rolls. Use 70-18 stick rods, or this might come apart on you. That's what I'm saying. This is just some 3/8 inch all thread. These are 3/8 inch by 16 threads per inch nuts. That's a lock nut with a nylon insert. This is just a piece of fuel line on here to, I didn't want it rubbing on the leaf spring. I just split it down the back and it's captured in there. It ain't going anywhere. And alls I did was I made this, put it on, and I just tightened these up until there was just some preload on the bottom of this slapper bar. Now, instead of all of this weight just flapping there when I hit bumps, this piece of all thread, this hanger, is holding, there's like an 1/8 inch of preload on it, so that I no longer have to worry about this thing flapping up and down, right? So there it is. I mean, I used to have the front and the back welded. Now I only have this welded across here. So in order to remove this in the future, you got to take a cut-off wheel and put a cut right here, and then tap it back and forth and break that weld off. Not a big deal. I wasn't able to weld up here in the front this time. I didn't weld the front because it's too tight in there. So in the future, if I were to need to get this back off again, and I will for some reason, it was going to be, just too hard to get in here with the angle grinder and cut that weld off. So this time I only did the back weld. And, it's a hassle, a little bit of a hassle to cut it when you want to get it off. But if you don't want crap moving around, I don't need this stuff moving around. I need this stuff to work. I need it to stay put. I don't want to look under here and see one of the leaf springs shifted 3/8, a half, 3/4 of an inch. That's what this thing used to do every time. So like I said, it's captured. It can't do it anymore. I got a plate on each side. Done deal. Now I'm going to spend like the next day and a half taking the other side apart and fabbing it, and I don't know. Maybe it won't take as long as this side, but this side, man, it took a long time. So there it is. If you want to save yourself hundreds of dollars, don't be afraid to. I mean, if you know how to weld and fab, don't be afraid to do it. Use a stick or something equivalent. Use 70-18 rods, and if you do decide you want to MIG it, because a lot of people have no idea how to stick. That's what I learned on in high school before I ever touched a MIG welder. A lot of people just can't stick. They hate it. They don't like to do it. But man, when you're doing structural or suspension stuff, 70-18 rods, that's the way to go. And if you decide to do an equivalent in MIG wire, it's the wire's expensive, man. If you look up the equivalent to 70-18, like for structural MIG welding, you got to get like Trigas, It's like an argon helium mix, and it's a special wire, and it's freaking expensive. You know, it's like, if you can afford it, go for it. But Tri-Gas is expensive, man. It's just so much easier to just get a good cracker box, like one of those, I don't know, get something that's 230 volts. Don't get a 115 volt. Get a cracker box like one of those Lincolns or something that's got the big plug on it. And, you can get 5, 10 pounds of 7018 rods from most box stores, Home Depots and stuff, Lowe's. You can pick up some 7018 rods for like 25 or 30 bucks for a box. Why weld with 6013s and 6011s and put that on your suspension? It's going to crack. I hate 6011 rods. Man, they're nasty. But sometimes for farm equipment and crap like that out in the field, that's what you got to use for rusty, messy crap. But if you can get away with it, 7018 rods, man, they'll produce like some X-ray quality welds. Once you get used to them, they're great. Anyway, I don't know. Hope this gave somebody some ideas for their truck. This is a 77 F-150, by the way. It's been a pretty Frankenstein. This was totaled. I was hit by a truck on the highway pulling my trailer, and it basically ripped the truck almost in half. Ripped the rear end off, the leaf springs, ripped them off, ripped off all the shackles, punctured the fuel tank, basically bent the truck in half. So if you're wondering what all this crap is and where all the holes are on my frame, you notice there's no holes. Where's all the holes? See up there, the stock frame, look at all those holes in there. Yep, that's what the manufacturers do. There's a zillion holes there. Well, you can see right here where I plated it. I cut the truck in half right here and double plated it with 1/4-inch plate right up to here. And then, because I didn't want to ruin the position of these towers, on the inside is 1/4-inch plate welded in there, and then over here I jumped back to 1/4-inch plate on the outside all the way up over to here. You can see where I had to piece it together for the bend. That's a piece. That's a separate piece of 1/4-inch plate, and it goes all the way back to right here. And you can see right there where the 1/4-inch plate ends, right before that shackle tower there. All the rest of that, all of this stuff behind there, it's 6-inch channel I bought from the local metal supplier. I had to rebuild this whole half of the truck with 6-inch channel, all the way right up to there. So yeah, everything's kind of Frankenstein together, but it drives great. It drives as nice as a new F-150 on the highway. It tracks straight. It's just, you wouldn't believe that it had been totaled and almost ripped in half, but anyway, that's it for now. Bye.